Hello, guys. I'm very glad to see everyone in our meeting today in our RadASO Talks. And let's start with a short introducing. My name is Olga, and today with me my colleague Rodion, and we are representing our mobile marketing agency RadASO. And today we are here to discuss some mobile applications, and here I mean some growth points of the mobile applications that you had the opportunity to send us before. So, first of all, I would say again, thank you that you joined us today. And I am sorry in advance if today we have any mistakes in our speaking, because English is not our native language. So please don't judge I if something is wrong. Today we're gonna, as I said before, we're gonna discuss a few applications, and we're gonna discuss some growth points for these applications. We choose a few from all the requests that you sent us before. By the way, there were pretty a lot of requests for reviewing the applications, and we have opportunity to review only a few, but please wait for the finishing of our meeting today, because we have a small present for you, and everyone who will not see the own application today in our FIR will have opportunity to use this small present that we prepared for you. Let's introduce ourselves. As I said before, my name is Olga. I am ASO team lead at RadASO. Speaking about my experience, I'm working with promoting the mobile application like more than 5 years. I have pretty huge experience with more than 150 applications. And in addition to this meeting that we have today, also I'm a speaker in some educational courses. I also teaching newbies in this ASO sphere. And also today, I hope that my speech and speech of Rodion, of course, will be also useful for all of you. Now, Rodion, I can give you a word, so introduce yourself also.
Hello. Thank you very much for this perfect introduction, for this perfect start. And yeah, thank you again. So what about me? My name is Rodion. I'm also ASO specialist with around 6 years of ASO experience. About me, I didn't have that much experience in participation in different courses or this stuff, but I had a lot of experience with different games, with different categories, apps. So yeah, for me, I think it's the biggest plus because not everybody have a chance to work with so much different apps and games, and also have some cases and some situations where I had an opportunity to grow only with ASO organically downloads for worldwide games and apps. So yeah, that's for me. I think you can continue.
Thank you so much. Also, a few words about RadASO overall. We are leading mobile app marketing agency, and at the same time, we are the part of NetPeak agency group that is specialized in different spheres of marketing, and we are here to discuss exactly mobile applications. And in promoting the mobile applications, we have experience with more than 300 projects. We are in the market starting with the 2018 year. And also we have experience of promoting the mobile application in pretty a lot of countries. We have experience with more than 30 countries of promoting, and we specialize not only in ASO, we also specialize in paid user acquisition, in localization services, conversion rate optimization, retention, mobile analytics, and some more additional works. So, speaking about our today meeting event, Today, as I said before, we chose 5 mobile applications to discuss. These mobile applications are from different niches like health and fitness, productivity, photo and video, utilities, and also one example will be representing a mobile game niche. So, if you all don't mind, let's start with the most interesting part, I would say, of our meeting today. Let's start with the first application. So, the first application that we have chosen today is a TrackAI application. This application is a calorie counter, so this application is from health and fitness niche, created for counting calories, counting the dishes, and also this application uses artificial intelligence for counting the calories, not in products, but in the dishes that you have opportunity to take pictures of. First of all, today for our analysis, we will be using the ASO tool of our partners, RSO. This tool is created by ASO specialist for ASO specialist. We participate the process of developing of this tool pretty actively, so we can say this tool is really useful for ASO specialist and mobile marketing specialist, not only for ASO specialist. And today we have a nice opportunity to show you what exactly you can see in this tool and how exactly you can also use it for your work, for promoting your apps in the future, for analyzing the niche, analyzing your own growth points. So, speaking about particularly the TrackAI application, first of all, we created the understanding of the niche, understanding of what the countries had the most amount of installations, the most amount of revenue in the world. To form this understanding, we have collected competitors of the app, competitors who are also focused on the counting calories, tracking calories, helping with the developing of meal plan, and so on. And after the collecting, like more or less from 50 to 70 competitors, we form the understanding what the countries are in top by installations and revenue in the world. So what we can see here after this, we can see that in the top there are 4 countries that are the biggest by number of installations and revenue. In the absolute top, we can see the United States, where it's pretty typical, to be honest, for different niches. And of course, we have this region here in the top by both installations and revenue. Also in the second place by both installations and revenue, we have the United Kingdom, and also pretty high positions have Germany and Canada. So here we can say that these particular regions are in the top for us. So we have to focus on these countries when we are developing our ASO strategy. What else interesting we can analyze here for this app? We can also analyze the dynamic of the niche for the last year, and it gives us opportunity of understanding the seasonality in the niche. We can see in what the months there were the biggest number of installations in the niche. For example, for more or less any niche from health and fitness categories, a pretty typical picture is where we can see the growth in January, like in the beginning of the year after Christmas, and also in spring. And pretty typical picture, like I described, we can also hear for this app, we can see that our competitors, the competitors of the app, also have more installations in these particular months. What does it mean for us? When you see such a dynamic in your traffic, when you're opening your analytics and you see the growth in some particular months, but you understand that you didn't change your marketing activity, you didn't change your, for example, text metadata, so you can't see any other reasons of this growth, you should analyze the market dynamics, because maybe, like we can see here, maybe the main reason is the seasonality. Also, if you understand that in some months you have period of seasonal growth, you can be prepared for this. For example, you can prepare some new marketing materials, in-app events for this period of time, update metadata more actively before this period of time. So I can say to the marketing manager of TrackAI, you can use this information because January is the next month, so you can use this opportunity to prepare for this and get even more traffic than you could. Here, I think we can move forward to the growth points of this app. We have analyzed a few main points of ASO, what exactly can be done better already now for this app. Let's start with the text metadata. In Isolytics, you can analyze both text metadata of the app and also graphic metadata of the app. You can watch in one place what the localizations you have filled in, what the languages your creatives are optimized, and also at the same time you can analyze the same growth points, the same points about your competitors, for example. So this tool is pretty useful for analysis. So after the analysis of the text metadata of this application TrackAI, what we can say that application uses only a few localizations of 39 active in App Store. In App Store, you should remember that the logic of indexation is like in every particular region, in every particular country, you have some particular number of localizations that are being indexed in these countries. So if, for example, in the previous part, we saw that Germany in top for us by number of installations and amount of revenue, we should understand that we have to optimize German localization to be more visible in this top country. Here we can see that metadata for Germany is not optimized because German localization is not filled in. We have metadata in the title that is duplicated from our default localization. So it's one of the main growth points for you right now. You should optimize localizations for your top countries to be more visible there. Also, one of your main countries is United States, of course, and in United States we have few localizations that are being indexed there. I can see that right now you already have a few localizations that are indexed in United States. There are like English main localization, Arabic, Korean, Portuguese, Brazil, but among the localization that are not optimized. For example, I see the Chinese simplified localization that is also active in United States. So you can use this localization also for adding the keywords there to be again more visible in United States, because again, Chinese simplified localization is also active for United States. By the way, it doesn't mean that you have to fill in the Chinese simplified localization by Chinese keywords. No, it can be English keywords, but the keywords that are popular in this particular region. That's what about the text metadata of the app. And speaking about the graphic metadata, here also we analyzed your current creatives and we have few suggestions of what can be improved here. For example, we would recommend you to use shorter titles in your screenshots. I would say that the best practice in using the text information in your creatives is to use not more than 5 words per one creative. In this case, we can be sure that users read exactly that information that you would like to bring them. If they have a lot of text information, their attention is not focused on the most important stuff. That's why we can lose their attention to the most important features. So if we would like, for example, to highlight some feature in some screenshot, try to describe this feature in maximum 5 words. Optimal option is 3 words, if it's possible. Also, the app uses artificial intelligence pretty actively in the work. That's why also we would recommend you to show it in your creatives. There are a lot of ways how to highlight artificial intelligence algorithms that are being used in your application on your creatives. For example, you can add some short AI two letters AI in your application icon somewhere in the corner, for example, in the top right corner. Or you can highlight AI, for example, AI analysis in the first screenshot with some bright color. There are a few options how it can be done, but for sure, we would recommend you to do it because in different niches, in different markets, the artificial intelligence is pretty trendy topic. So it can catch more attention from the target audience to your application page. Rodion, maybe you can add anything here. Maybe you also have any ideas of how to improve the situation for this app.
Yeah, of course, of course. First of all, I agree with all things that you were speaking about. So yeah, and first of all, also wanted to admit one additional time that this category is pretty big. So for example, when we were looking at the countries that the US the biggest and there are some other countries, I would say that it is important to focus on also smaller countries. So it not should be only first 5 countries, but also first 10, 15 countries to optimize every language and so on, because you can get your traffic and other stuff from other countries, not only for US, especially because US is pretty competitive. And sometimes other countries, because they're less competitive and they can bring you more than US. So that's first of all. And also, while I'm remembering about this, had an idea about the seasonality. Of course, this seasonality, I think mostly because of people's thoughts, because everybody New Year, everybody think, okay, I want to change myself, I want to do something. And because of this, a lot of people start downloading apps like this. So you also can work on this, prepare maximum, update your metadata, prepare some screenshots, prepare some events. So to be ready for this, people's mindset about that they want to change something, they want to be healthy, they want to lose weight, and so on. So yeah, and about metadata, it's the same thing as I said. It's better to work on everything, to be honest, to use cross-localization for US, to use small languages like Japanese, even Dutch, Turkish. So yeah, the more the better, because everything can work and all these languages can bring you something. And about screenshots, I would say that mostly, yeah, in as visual part, I think they look pretty good. So they have some beautiful images of food. They have some experience, some examples of their app. So what can I say that? What can I add to you, to your thoughts? That maybe few things that you also can test is to think about people's problem. So for example, I can see on the 6 screenshots a strawberry with the tape that's trying to tell about I want to lose weight. Maybe some thoughts, some ideas on first screenshots also can help, because users will not only see what app is, but also they maybe see immediately the answer like, okay, this app can help me with this problem. So yeah, and also because of trying to work on different countries, also to try different food to test, because for example, in different countries, different tasty foods, food can be something that can people install the app because of. So yeah, so also test different dishes, test less smaller details, more beautiful pictures, more examples, numbers, so all of this. And yeah, because this is pretty big category, and I think testing is one of the key to improve your app. You need to test a lot different stuff, because everything can work and improve your conversion.
For sure, I absolutely agree with you. Thank you for your ideas. Okay, I hope that our suggestions gonna be useful for the owner of TrackAI application. So let's move forward to the next one. And the next application that we are going to discuss is a FlipD application, is a focus and study timer. I would say that this niche is became pretty popular not so long time ago, because maybe for the last half a year, more or less, I started to see the focus study timers not only in stores of mobile application, but also in YouTube and in TikTok and so on. I think it's pretty nice idea of the app and pretty nice growing niche. So the same as for previous one, we have collected 50 more or less applications to form the analysis of the niche. And what we can see here, again, in top, we can see the United States region, but China is not so far from the United States. We can see, for example, that by revenue, the China has 13% of the niche. At the same time, United States is not much higher, almost 17% of the niche. So I would say that China is more or less same priority for us as the United States. Also, not so far from the United States and China, we also can see in top such countries like South Korea, Japan, and Germany again. Speaking about the dynamic of the niche, the situation is also pretty interesting. In the previous example, we could see the seasonality that depends on the thoughts, the plans of people about starting the new life, and so on. Here, as this application is mostly study timer that people use for measuring the type when they are studying or even working, and measuring the time when they should have some rest. So this niche becomes more popular in that period of time when all the vacations are finishing, all the holidays are finishing in universities, in schools, at work, and so on. That's why we see pretty significant growth in August, because usually new study year in different countries, and not only study year, at work also we have pretty a lot of niches fairs where also we have like new periods, active periods, uh, closer to the autumn. So that's why in this niche the 2 months are in top by installations in revenue, August and September. So in this particular time you should pay your attention to your marketing activity, to your ASO activity, to do it more actively, do it better, to bring some more traffic to your app. And let's move to the growth points of the app. Again, here we have analyzed the text metadata of the app and the graphic metadata. And what can we see here? We can see that this application uses only a few localizations, again, of 39 active that are active in App Store. And What is I would say what is the biggest growth points for the app here? It's of course optimizing the localization for Asian countries. As we could see in our market analysis, such countries as China, Japan, South Korea, should optimize localizations like Chinese simplified, Korean, Japanese for and we should add these countries to our ASO strategy. Like it should be one of the first countries that we should be optimized for. What else? Also, you should pay your attention at the what's keywords you are using in your metadata. Also, we have some duplicating between, for example, French France and French Canada. We can see that in these two localizations, there are the same title and subtitle are used. So here is also the growth points, because if we are, for example, focused on both France and Canada, the metadata for France and Canada, French Canada localization should be prepared separately. You should remember about it. Also, one more point that I would like to highlight here, speaking about the text metadata. While our app is not so popular as our competitors in the niche, maybe here is the point to add our brand name to the end of the title, at least for that countries where our brand name is not high popular for sure. So for example, if we are promoting in France and we can see that in France we don't have popularity of our brand higher than 10 of 100, maybe it will be nice for now to place our brand name that is in the beginning of the title for now to the end. Why? Because maybe while our brand name is not so popular for user, it will be more clear what is our application about if the common search terms will be placed in the beginning of the text metadata. So first, what the users will see will be some recognizable common words that will give the understanding of what we are about. And our brand name at the same time can be somewhere in the end. So we are still leaving our brand name in the title, but it just will be not in the beginning. When your brand name become popular in App Store, it can be placed in the beginning. Also, it can be placed, for example, in application icon, again, to gain some more traffic because the brand name will be recognizable for your audience. It's about text metadata. Also, we have few comments. I have few comments about your creatives. All again here, your creatives are pretty nice. I like the first screenshot. I like that you are using some creative element in the beginning of your screenshot set. I like the CTA for the first screenshot for sure. It motivates it motivates to install the application. I like it. Also, it's nice that you are using social proofs on the beginning of the screenshot set, like the app of the day icon. Also, you are showing your high application rating in the third screenshot. That's really nice. But few points, as for me, should be maybe a little improved. For example, I think I would recommend you to use more readable font for your screenshot titles. Here you are using cursive, it looks nice, but maybe for people who are always busy, always in rush, it will be just more readable, more easy to read the usual font without cursive. But again, it should be tested. As in any niche, it should be tested. What else? I think it would be also useful for, particularly for your niche, it would be useful to use the seasonal updates of your creatives. As I know, people who like using such applications like study timers, Pomodoro timers, and so on, they also like the atmosphere of this application, of this video. They like when we are using when you are using something creative. And I think that seasonal updates, like for example for Christmas soon, it also can be pretty useful for you. So try to update your creative before Christmas, before spring, summer, any other holidays. And I believe that the conversion rate in this case is gonna be a little better. Rodion, maybe here you have any more ideas?
Sure. Again and again, I agree with you about your thoughts. Um, so yeah, but I still have something to add. So for example, for screenshots, the only thing I can tell and add is that for me, for example, I'm not clear about what type of users are searching for this app. And by that, I mean what they need. Do they need to see features, or do they need to see exactly these first screenshots that they have right now? So for the test, I would say also would nice to try to check what will work better. Maybe this type of users, they need to see these exact features and what you have in this app, because maybe they don't need this approving or something else. And if they see something special, or they see the exact thing that they searching for, maybe it will work better. So this is just an idea for test. I would say it's more about the positioning of the screenshots, because technically it's just to change them a little bit and put screenshots that now on the third, fourth, and fifth position, to put it on the beginning, and maybe it will work better. So this is for now only idea from me about screenshots. And about metadata and category in general. Uh, it's cool that we can see here how, I would not say it's culture, but I would say how people can be different in different situations. And we know, not maybe everybody, but we know how strict study in Asia, how it's hard, it's always a problem, it's one of the step in their lives. And we can see that in Asian countries it's really more popular. So yeah, I agree with the recommendation to work with the different languages, especially Chinese, Japanese, because yeah, I think they have pretty big part of the potential users. So this is the thing, I think, on the first place to work with Asian countries, because they can bring you more. And I think what else I can tell? In general, graphics good, app interesting. The only thing I think is missing is the video of the some guy who will watching you, and that will look at you while you're studying. But the other stuff I think is okay. So yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think it should be one of the most unusual hypotheses. Add the guy, add video of this guy who will be watching the studying process. Yes, it will be very nice. Okay, thank you for your ideas. Let's move to the next one. Next one app that I would like to discuss today is the FaceLab application. This application is a face changer, face age changer, face gender changer, and so on, with artificial intelligence technologies again. Today we are speaking about artificial intelligence not for the first time, so it's a confirmation of that idea that I had that this topic is pretty trendy. It's not a secret. So anyway, again, here we have collected some competitors to form the understanding of the niche and what we can see here. Not for the first time today, we can see that the United States in the top by number of installations and revenue in the niche. Also, we can see in the top such countries like China, like Brazil, Japan again, and United Kingdom. And for the first time for today, I would say that here is no like a bright seasonality in the niche. Each month is pretty active in this niche. We have pretty huge number of installations in the niche. And as we all understand, I think, yes, this niche is really popular and pretty high competitive. But anyway, in ASO, we always have something to improve, and let's see what we can improve for FaceLab. So again, here we have analyzed the text metadata and creatives. First, what I would say about the text metadata, really rare situation when I see the metadata and I am satisfied. your your ASO specialist has done the great job. Your metadata is really nice. Personally, I have only few points that would I recommend you to test. You see, not even change, but test. First of all, what I noticed, like one of the first things, your brand name is a FaceLab, and you are typing it like with the two capital letters in this brand name, Face, and one more capital letter, Lab, L. What does it mean? In App Store, there is a hypothesis that when you are using in the App Store a word that it connected with two words, like for example, in your case, face and lab, but you are typing these two words in one word with the capital letters, App Store can split it into two words. That's why probably it's not necessary for you to use face keyword separately again in your metadata. Try to test it. In this way, you can just get free some more place in your application title and subtitle somewhere, just to use something different but not a face one more time. So yeah, it's like a hypothesis, but I think it would be pretty interesting to test it. One more thing that I would like to highlight, I would recommend you to ask some native speakers to check your current metadata one more time. I think you was using the help of native speakers to form your metadata, but I noticed some lexical issues in your Cyrillic metadata, like for example, for Russian and for Ukrainian localizations. For example, it looks not really natural when you are starting the phrase with the not capital letter in your subtitle. At least this can be changed. Also, in lexical, on the lexical side, also you have some issue here in the phrase. I would recommend you to try to change it for something different. That's just what I can recommend you to do. Speaking about your creatives are really cool. I like that your screenshots are so bright, so attention catching. You have pretty bright emotions of people in your screenshots. So it's really nice. I really like it. Maybe few recommendations, also few ideas for testing. Again, for your application as well, I would recommend you to try to make artificial intelligence accent in your first screenshot and maybe in your application icon. Again, for example, you can add the AI word in your icon in the corner, in the right top corner or below, for example. And also you can say about your artificial intelligence features in the app in your first creative. Here you use video for this application. It's very nice, very cool. That's why when I'm saying about changes of your screenshots, I'm saying about particularly first screenshot, because first screenshot visually for users is in the second place after video. So that's why if we are saying about any significant changes with your screenshots particularly, all the changes should be done in the first screenshot, because all the other screenshots are just not so visible as the first one because of video preview. So this is this idea, the first. And the second idea, maybe also you should try to use more active, more huge captions, screenshot titles. Maybe also in this way that features that you would like to highlight will be more readable for your target audience, because for now these faces that you are using on your screenshots are really attractive. They attract, that catch the attention of the audience. That's why the information in your text captions is not really readable, not so catching, I would say. That's why maybe you can combine your um, visual elements like faces with just bigger, pretty huge captions. And also I love that you using short captions, so it can be enlarged. You have even here, even with this uh, schematic of your screenshot set, you can use larger ones. So also I would test this approach when we use pretty large and active and bright text captions. Radion, maybe you have anything to add here?
Uh, yeah, first of all, I can agree with you about metadata, that maybe they need some native speaker to work with it. And it's more not about indexation, it's more about conversion.
Yeah.
So it's can improve, I would say. Yeah, and about metadata, to be honest, yeah, it's rare thing to meet optimized apps, but here they are. So yeah, it's good that it is optimized, just to double check everything, use some ISO secrets, like using FaceLab, as you told, and yeah, native speaker. I think it's main things that you need to focus on right now in metadata. And about screenshots, I think this is type of category where this type of screenshots can work, where you don't need this all big introductions about your app, about who we are and stuff like this, just examples. And the only thing I can add, maybe because I don't know, for test, they can also check inside their app what functions, what filters users usually use, and try to put it on the beginning, because this is a data that can tell you about what is actually users looking for, what filters they usually use. And yeah, it's also just an idea for test. But in general, of course, it would be nice also to test some other concepts, try to use something different. But yeah, as I said, I think this type of screenshots, they probably work better. So yeah, so mostly you need to work on texts, on filters, on people that are on images, and that's it. Yeah, maybe also you can check trends, what people use in other services like TikTok or Instagram and stuff like this. So because probably I think a lot of children, young people trying to search for this type of apps, and maybe these popular filters, they can take their attention, and it would be a reason why they can download this app.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I hope that our recommendations were useful for FaceLab and also for two previous applications that we just reviewed. Now I would like to transfer my words to Rodion and transfer my screen share to him. And Rodion also is going to present his screen and his analysis of two more applications.
Yeah, thank you very much. Uh, Thank you for previous apps. So yeah, it's really nice, it's really good. And now it's my turn. So as I can understand correctly, you can see my screen. Everything is all right. Everything is okay. So yeah, let's start. So my first app that I will tell you about is GPS Field Area Maps Field Calculation. Now I think it should be finished. So yeah, this app about measuring field area with GPS. So it's like you put different marks, you select an area, and it will tell you how big it is, and some similar stuff. So here you can see our top country, not United States, but countries like Thailand, India, United States, Vietnam, Brazil, China. I think it's also the reason why United States not the most popular, also because of the type of the app, because I think users are mostly who use this app are different farmers, landlords, and people like this. And countries where there will be the most amount of downloads will be countries where people work more with these fields and so on. So it was not a surprise for me about Vietnam and about India, because they have a lot of type people like this workers there. So probably it's logically that this app is popular in these countries. About seasonality, there is a small seasonality during July, August, September, October. I would say probably it's because of how different cultures like veggies and other stuff grows. So probably these periods, it's not just a period when farmers actively work, or maybe everybody download before in June, May, and April and already use this app. So yeah, I think seasonality mostly can change because of these situations, when the work started, when everybody needs to measure their fields to understand how much work, how much things to do, and so on. So yeah, so about countries, that's it. Compared to previous apps, this app not that big, but still it has its traffic. So about growth points, we can see here, let's start with metadata, that it's not optimized that good. So there are still a lot of languages that you can work with. For now, it use only 4 languages, but still, even they can be updated, and you can work with them. So yeah, first recommendation, just start working on localization, especially the country that I was talking about, like India, Vietnam, Brazil. So I would say all countries with a big territory and with their culture where they work on fields and so on. I think it's one of the reasons why you can choose those countries. And yeah, just start working on them to improve your indexation and so on. About screenshots, here you can see they also use video. It's good. And the video is pretty good because it shows you exactly how app works, and it answers, I think, the main question, does it measure area and so on. So yeah, it is. And here mostly shows examples about buildings, about for workers to understand the area and so on. So about the screenshots, I would say, from me, I like that they showing real examples of how it works, about numbers, area, about that they use coordinates, they telling about their features, uh, and they answering the main question, measure field area, and so on. So if we are speaking about what they show in terms of functionality, I think it's good. The thing is, I would like to, first of all, change all text on the top, because this is like a small, I would say, mistake, that we have text on top, then in the middle, then again on top, then on the bottom. And it's better always to have text on one level, or at least most of the screenshots. So people will be more comfortable to read all this information. The second thing I would say that I would like to see how it will work if we make these phones and with examples small bigger because of specification of this category. There are a lot of small details and so on, and sometimes you need to look closely to understand what they tell, even though they have these small details like on the last screenshots when they show separate Markov area because it's not couldn't be fitted on a phone. So yeah, try to increase these phones. And yeah, and maybe work on a text on the top. Try to answer yourself who use you more, because here mostly examples about buildings and so on, but maybe you need to analyze what type of users using it. So maybe you can also bring some examples of other situations where this app can be used. And of course, try to test these first screenshots because we already have video, and maybe it's good to try to test without this first introduction screenshots and already come to features that it has, examples, how it works, and so on. So this is my thoughts on a screenshot. Olga, maybe you can have something to add, some ideas about screenshots.
First of all, I would say one thing about text metadata. Could you please go back to this? Yeah, thanks. Again, here we have similar situation as with FaceLab, when one of keyword was part of our brand name, and here we have the same. You have a field word like a part of your brand name. That's why you can try to test not using the field keyword in your metadata one more time, because probably it will be enough that you already have this keyword as a part of your brand name. And yes, about creatives, I absolutely agree with you that it's pretty hard for this niche probably to show all the small details of application interface in the screenshots. That's why maybe it's not necessary to show your application interface only in mock-up of the smartphone together with text caption. Maybe just try to create one of your screenshots just as a part of your application interface without any mockups and so on. In this way, you will just show the main parts of your interface as large as it possible. And I absolutely agree that all the captions should be placed at the same level. Uh, exactly here, we have also problem with that fact there is our captions are not only placed in different levels, only it has pretty visually active background, like bright blue background. That's why users' attention can be splitted all the time between different parts of screenshot, that we can be some kind of hard to be focused on the most essential stuff and so on. That's why, yes, let's try to place all the text information in the top and all the visual information right after, right below. I believe it will work better, but again, use A/B testing to be sure that it really works for you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. In total, I would say it's pretty interesting category, I would say. And I'm not sure about where exactly you can have this you can have users. Probably the here will also work not only organic but also, you know, like sharing from people to people, sharing with different companies and so on. uh, this is just thoughts. So yeah, I hope that our recommendations will help. So yeah, work on metadata, try to test different stuff on screenshots, put text on the top uh, to show more detailed your functionalities, and that's it. Okay, and the last one is a game. Game name is PC Creator 2 PC Building Sim. So this is the game about creating your own personal computer, testing it inside of the app. So technically, it's simulator of creating, trying to find important details and testing it inside the game. About countries, this game is more popular on East Europe, I would say, and also in Asia. Again, there is no United States. It took pretty small market share, only 2.4%. We have countries like Russia, India, Ukraine, and so on. So here I would say that technically you need to check all countries that is popular in it game, where this game is can be maybe popular, and try to work and focus on them, because probably United States is not that good country and not good choice for exactly this game. About seasonality, it looks a little bit strange, because maybe some apps appearing, maybe some apps developing, becoming bigger, smaller, because in general, I would say this app is this type of games not that popular. And maybe sometimes from time to time, I think it loses the interest in these games, and interest and people start be interesting in this game after that. So I think it just go down, up, down, up, uh, because everything can be the reason of it. For example, new details for computers, or new technologies, new games, and stuff like this. So I would say to more to work with your own analytics and to see how your app feels during this period, to understand how your audience uh, feels, and when they wanted to play, want to play, when they don't. So what about the points of growth? So metadata, here metadata also done pretty well. And I can see here that there no such problem like we had before about native speaker, because for example, I can see here that grammatically everything might be okay, might be good. And yeah, the only thing I can tell you is to work more on a app name, because app name is everywhere almost the same. Probably to try to test different words, especially in different countries, because I can see that for languages, app name was optimized not for everybody. I would say even for small amount of countries, and still you have a big list of countries where it could be interesting to update and optimize uh, app name for them. So to do app name with their language. For metadata, I think that's it. About visuals, here we can see an example of how how screenshots for games can be visualized. And here, the only thing I can say that always need for games, screenshots is one of the things you always need to test. Here we have some examples from the game and the short text below. It's, I would say, regular tactic for games category. The only thing I would recommend to test is to try to use more realistic, I would not say realistic, more straight examples of the game. Try to use some with UI, try to use with some menus and so on, because for some reason, for users, when you have like this a little bit uh, ugly, not beautiful, but straight examples of your games, it can works better, because users can see exactly what you have in it, and it will convert better. So yeah, it's hard to tell about what details you should change. Probably more about creating this PC, about explanation, because for example, for me, it's not really, I cannot really understand how exactly you can test games on your PC and stuff like this. So yeah, just show a little bit more different examples. Try to use it without text. Try to use with different UIs inside the game, and that's it, I would say. Maybe Olga have something to add.
Mhm. Of course. First of all, again, I would like to add few things about the text metadata. Here, I would like to recommend you to review the opportunity of creating more options of English descriptions, English metadata, because I can see that you have two English examples of your metadata, and maybe try to create few more in Google Play. As I remember, you have like six options of English metadata, and in Google Play, by the way, all the metadata is being indexed in all the world. That's why you can use the same English metadata for being indexed better in different regions. Why I'm saying about exactly English metadata, because when we are working with Google Play, for us it's pretty important to give to Google Play some triggers that will give it opportunity to understand our niche better. So, and I suppose, and a lot of people in Sphere also suppose that English metadata is better, I would say, to communicate with Google algorithms. So if we create few options of English metadata where we will be saying about our positioning, about our niche, about what we are about as a game, so it will be more clear for Google, and Google will be showing us, for example, in similar application more often, in some for example, maybe in some featurings also more often, and so on. And also it can affect our indexation overall in all the countries by a lot of languages. So I would recommend to try doing it. Speaking about creatives, yes, I absolutely agree with Rodion. Try to add more example of how exactly the gameplay looks like in real. It's very nice. I saw on your application page that you have video preview. It's really nice that you have it, because video preview is that particular creative where you can use how the game looks in real. And I think that in this way also you can improve your static creatives. Also, I'm not sure if it's relevant for your particular niche, for your particular genre, but I know that overall in game niches there are such nice test ideas, seasonality again. If you have a winter, spring, some holidays, just try to update your creatives according to these events, period of time, seasons of the year. And it also can convert better because gaming niche is like a joyful niche. So it always players always like when the game use some seasonal updates, seasonal activity, and so on. And at the same reason why it can convert better even in your application page.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like the thing why game difficult part of games compared to apps, you always need to stay in touch with your players,
Mhm.
with your users. So yeah, different events, different New Year screenshots, and so on can increase your amount of downloads and so on during this period. So yeah, just be in touch. Always tell about your updates. Um, say congratulations about New Year and so on, Christmas. And yeah, and agree and just test different stuff because everything can work in game category. All UI can work, all examples of games can work, uh, without text can work. And this area, I would say, you don't have this exact understanding what will work from the beginning. You always need to try different things to tell about more, because you had features about mining blockchain, about your customize your room and so on. Maybe it will be more interesting to put on the beginning. So who knows? Tests will tell you everything.
For now, I would just tell everyone who joined us today, who sent the request, big thank you. We are really grateful for your activity, sending the request, for your activity in the chat, and for coming here today, for your support. Um, for us, it is very great, really great experience of communicating with you, with owners of applications, with marketing managers about different stuff related to the mobile marketing. And at the same time, we hope that our speech was useful for all of you as well. I think that our meeting is our event, like this is not the last today, and I hope that very soon we will meet again. Please follow us, follow the news from RadASO. We will be sending all the information about further events that are like this. And please send us requests again, send your questions to us, and let's help each other to develop ourselves, develop our applications and mobile sphere overall. Okay, so I don't see any questions in the chat. So thank you again. Have a nice evening, have a nice day, and see you in our next events.
Thank you, everybody.